Hello, we're now ready for chapter 9. The name of this chapter is Lip Lip. As White Fang was very smart, it did not take him long to learn the way of the camp and whom to avoid. He learned that women would give him extra food when no one else was watching. He lingered near the tents as meals were prepared, waiting for an extra fish or a piece of meat to be thrown his way. Children, on the other hand, were often mean and threw things at him. Somehow, he always got into trouble whenever he went too close to them. He was the center of too many jokes, and he learned to stay away from all other dogs. Lip Lip in particular. Lip Lip was older than White Fang and not happy about the newcomer. Lip Lip was a bully and liked bossing around the puppies. He took every chance to jump on or bother White Fang. The wolf cub was under constant attack. If he wandered around camp sniffing in corners and under tent flaps, Lip Lip was waiting for him. He bit at the cub or knocked him over. White Fang rarely had a moment's peace. There was no time for puppy games when faced with Lip Lip and his attacks. White Fang was forced to grow up too quickly. Since his mother was still tied up, Gray Beavers was his only defender. The other men in the camp blamed White Fang for every fight, every stolen piece of fish, and every overturned plate. He often hid behind Gary Beaver's leg while men pointed fingers and waved clubs. His master never let anyone touch White Fang, even when it was the cub's fault. And it sometimes was his fault. It was hard that way. White Fang missed the wild. These were days when he sat on the edge of camp and looked out. There were days when he sat on the edge of camp, but he always returned, restless and uncomfortable, to whimper softly at Keish's side. Finally, the day came when Gary Beavers untied Keish. White Fang was very happy about his mother's freedom. He accompanied her joyfully around the camp. The first time since coming to camp, White Fang felt happy and confident. At long last, things would change. His mother was free, and they could return their life to the wild. He led his mother to the edge of the woods. The stream, the cave, the quiet woods were calling to him. He ran on a few steps, stopped, and looked back. Keish had not moved. He ran under some bushes playfully, trying to pull her out. There was something calling to him out there in the open. His mother heard it too, but she also heard the call of fire and man. Keish turned and slowly trotted back toward camp. What was White Fang to do? After all, he was still a puppy. Although the call of the wild was strong, the need to be with his mother was stronger. He followed her back to Gary Beaver's tent and the life of the camp, both good and bad. Unfortunately, White Fang's life was about to change again. During the winter famine, Gary Beavers bought some meat from the 3 Eagles, other men in the tribe. In order to pay him back, Gary Beavers gave his friend some cloth, a bearskin, and Keish. 3 Eagles and his family were leaving camp to go trading in the south. He packed his new cloth and bearskin and led Keish away on a rope, while White Fang watched while the strange man took his mother into a canoe. He was terrified. He barked and howled and ran up and down the shore. He tried to follow, but 3 eagles kicked him back. The man pushed the canoe into the water and set off. Gary Beavers tried to hold on to the cub, but White Fang wiggled free. He ran into the river and started to swim after his mother. Gary Beavers quickly grabbed another canoe and chased White Fang. He was soon beside the frantic cub. The man reached in, grabbed him by the scuff of his neck, and pulled him into the canoe. White Fang yelped and howled, calling for his mother. He tried to jump back into the water, but Gary Beavers stopped him, and when White Fang experienced something entirely new, Gary Beaver beat him. He delivered one slap after another until the cub stopped crying. White Fang tried to growl and bare his teeth, but Gary Beavers was not afraid. There was nothing the cub could do. He stopped growling and sat at Gary Beaver's feet as they returned to shore. White Fang went home to his master. He understood that Gary Beavers was powerful and must be obeyed. But the wolf cub was no longer happy. He was more suspicious of people. He must be mean.